Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make a 24-inch Texas star out of reclaimed lumber. You're going to need a miter saw, a 2x6, and no jigs. That's right, 0 jigs for this project. This is by far the easiest way to make these things, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to do is set your saw up to 54 degrees. Now, if your saw doesn't go to 54 degrees, I do have another video on how to make these for saws that only go to 45 degrees. So I'll leave a link for that somewhere in my description or at the end of the video. And just to get it on record here, we are dealing with a 2x6. This is 5.5 inches wide. And I'm not sure how long you're going to need yet, but I will let you know after I cut it. So the first cut you're going to make is 54 degrees right at the end of the board. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will show you what to do next. And once you've made your first cut, you're going to measure 9.5 inches. You're going to keep your saw at 54 degrees. And I like to put a stop block here. And basically, you're going to be cutting every 9.5 inches until you get 5 pieces. So I've got all my 5 pieces cut out here, and I thought I'd just lay them out and just measure how much I used up here. So I'm at 56 inches there. So now you know, if you've got a scrap piece of 2x6 that's about 56 inches, you should be able to make this. Alright, on to the next step here. So the next step will be to set your saw up at 36 degrees. And as you can see, I've got something going on over here. And basically, this is the scrap from the 2x6 that I had left over. So this angle is still at 54 degrees. And I'm going to be using this as a stop block. And this piece right here, that's just a scrap 1x4. Just adding a little extra length to my fence there. And I'm going to take this and I'm basically just going to slide it in here. And that's going to hold it in nice and firm so that I can make my 36-degree angle cut. Now, how do I know where to make that cut? I basically measure these edges. Whichever one's shortest, in this case, it's this one here, goes against the fence. I've lined this up so that it goes right up against the edge of my blade. So I basically just put this corner just right over the edge of that fence there, this 1x4. And that's pretty much where I'll make my cut there. So I'm going to make one cut at 36 degrees, and then I'm just going to simply flip this over and make the next cut. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you what that looks like. And once you got 5 of those pieces cut, you should have something that resembles a star. Let's see how it fits here. Oh yeah, very nice. So this technique works really well for cutting these stars. I've been doing it for a while now. I do keep fine-tuning it and getting better. But you will find, though, that your first few tries, you won't get these angles exactly perfect. You might find that you might have some gaps kind of going this way or that way when you get that final piece in there. And I'll just show you why that happens. It's a pretty easy fix, totally fixable. Don't freak out if that happens to you. So let me just flip the camera around here. So basically what happens when your star is not fitting properly is this angle at 36 degrees is just slightly off. So you might need to adjust your saw. Just move it over to the left or to the right, just a smidge. Sometimes all it takes is something like this. That's it. So the needle here moved. You probably can't even tell on camera, but that's all it takes. And if I'm working on cutting a whole bunch of stars, I'll actually just work on one star first, get the angles lined up properly, and then I'll cut the rest of them. So usually that results in me having to recut the angles to the entire star. In this particular scenario, where I'm just making one star, I might try to get away with just recutting one piece if the gap is small enough, and seeing if that slides in there. When dealing with rustic wood, you can kind of get away with fudging it like that. Now, if you do recut it though, you can't just simply stick this back in here, change your angle, and start cutting. You do have to slide this over a little bit, about half the width of the blade. Otherwise, it just won't really work properly. But I'll let you do a little trial and error with that. Just know that just a tiny little micro adjustment in your saw will make all the difference with getting these things to line up properly. All right, let's talk real quickly about the assembly. And by the way, we are looking at 24.5 inches wide and 23.5 inches tall. Now, as you can see, this thing is already being held together on its own. Basically, what I've done here is I glued all the joints with wood glue, and I didn't have to use any clamps. I just squeeze it together by hand and let it sit on a flat surface for about 4 or 5 hours. Once the glue is set, I flip it over, and I use this little thing for dowel joinery. It's kind of like a pocket hole jig, but it's drilling holes so that I can put dowels in them. Whoa, now hold on, didn't I say no jigs? It's okay, don't worry about it. You actually don't need this. This is just to help me be a little bit more consistent in drilling sharp angles for my dowel joinery. But all you really need to do here is just drill a hole on an angle and then insert a dowel. So you don't actually need this thing. But for me, this is by far the easiest way to assemble these things. I don't have to worry about lining things up because everything's already like glued in place. I just clamp this here, drill my hole, fill it with glue, put my dowel in, wait for that to dry, cut it flush with my pull saw, and then sand it down. And by the way, these are bamboo barbecue skewers, which actually work really well and are super strong. Now, there's many other ways you could probably assemble this, but I found that this method was a great combination of speed, strength, and accuracy. And that is how you make a 24-inch Texas Star with a 2x6. If you like this video and want to see more videos on how to make Texas Stars, definitely check out my channel. I've got plenty of videos to view, and I do plan on making more. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.